What's up, everyone? It's the famous girl, and today I want to talk about why I think Shannon Sharpe is cooked. So, if you didn't know, earlier this week in Nevada, a lawsuit was filed by an unnamed Jane Doe who was suing Shannon Sharpe for sexual assault and battery, along with engaging in the intentional infliction of emotional distress. Not long after that, Shannon Sharpe posted a statement from his attorney, Lanny J. Davis, and in the statement, it included some text messages from the Jane Doe. But in this case, the Jane Doe's name was not blurred out. Her name was disclosed. Her name is actually Gabriella Zuniga. And the text messages that were shown here say, "I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're fucking me." And that was a text message sent to Shannon on October 7th, 2023. Then there's another message referenced here saying, "I know you miss this big juicy ass. $25K for each cheek." That was sent on January 1st, 2025. Now I'm just going to go ahead and read the statement that the attorney wrote. He said, "This lawsuit filed by Gabriella Zuniga, orchestrated by her attorney Tony Busby, is a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. It is filled with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations, and it will not succeed. In her effort to extract a large financial settlement, Ms. Zuniga presented Mr. Sharpe with a secretly recorded video of a consensual sexual encounter. We believe the video has been heavily edited and taken entirely out of context, crafted to falsely portray a consensual act as non-consensual. Ms. Zuniga has refused to provide a copy of the full unedited version of the recording to Mr. Sharpe's legal team. To set the record straight, we are releasing several of Ms. Zuniga's own explicit text messages to Mr. Sharpe that clearly indicate the nature of their relationship was consensual and sexual in nature, and in many cases initiated by her with specific and graphic requests. Contrary to the allegations she makes in her lawsuit, consensual sex continued until January 2nd, 2025, the day after she asked for $25,000 per cheek, as quoted above from her text messages to Mr. Sharpe. There are other examples of text from Ms. Zuniga. For example, it said, "Only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want to me." Then it says, text from Gabriella Zuniga to Shannon Sharpe, November 23rd, 2023. "I want to put my tongue in your asshole and then marry you." Then there's a text from January 12th, 2024. "That's my daddy. Fuck, I want you to put a big black baby in me." From August 6, 2024, "You better crave it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me." Oh my God. The lawyer goes on to say, "These messages are just a sampling of a broader pattern of graphic sexual communications initiated by Ms. Zuniga. The evidence paints a clear picture. This was a consensual adult relationship that included role-playing, sexual language, and fantasy scenarios explicitly requested by Ms. Zuniga. The edited tape that Ms. Zuniga secretly taped and showed to Mr. Sharpe during her blackmail attempt tries to falsely portray, as a result of this editing and out of context from prior text messages, that the sexual activity was not consensual. But Mr. Sharpe now believes her secret taping was all part of her planned setup as part of her blackmail scheme, as distorted by her edited tape, a copy of which she refused to make available to Mr. Sharpe or his counsel. Mr. Sharpe categorically denies all allegations of coercion or misconduct, especially the gross lie of rape, and will not submit to what he sees as an egregious attempt at blackmail. He stands firmly by the truth and is prepared to fight these false claims vigorously in court. He looks forward to vindication through due process and a judgment based on the facts and the law." All right, so this is where it starts getting messy. The person who is representing this Jane Doe, also known as Gabriella Zuniga, whose identity was revealed through Shannon Sharpe's attorney, is none other than Tony Busby. Tony Busby is also the attorney who represented another Jane Doe against Jay-Z and P. Diddy after she claimed that they had both took turns sexually assaulting her after the 2000 VMAs when she was just 13 years old. Tony Busby then posted a response to Shannon Sharpe's lawyer statement, and this is what he had to say. Shannon Sharpe released a false and misleading statement through his attorney. The statement from Sharpe's newest lawyer falsely accuses Miss Jane Doe of editing a video, a claim that is not only demonstrably false but also desperate. The lawyer also suggests Miss Doe refused to make the video available to Mr. Sharpe. Again, this assertion is easily proven untrue. In fact, Miss Doe insisted he watch it. Here's what is true. Although Jane Doe never referenced any video or multiple audios that she possesses in the lawsuit that she filed, now that Mr. Sharpe's lawyer has decided to broach that subject, we will address it. An incredibly damning video does indeed exist. The contents of that video speak volumes about Mr. Sharpe and his behavior. That video, which will be played to the jury, is extremely problematic for Mr. Sharpe. Sharpe's team, as I anticipated, disclosed the existence of this video in an effort to try and get ahead of it. That effort will fall flat. In his statement, Mr. Sharpe's attorney references several texts. Every text that Mr. Sharpe's counsel released today, purportedly from Jane Doe, are dated prior to the alleged brutal assault set forth in Jane Doe's case. Those texts were obviously released in an effort to distract the public's attention from the allegations in Jane Doe's lawsuit. It won't work. A little history. Back in early February, our office contacted Mr. Sharpe on behalf of Jane Doe and broached the subject of a meeting. Multiple conversations took place. Ultimately, a mediation occurred. Mr. Sharpe was represented by different lawyers in that mediation. That mediation process went on for more than 6 weeks, ultimately leading to Mr. Sharpe making an incredibly significant offer to settle. Ultimately, Jane Doe refused the hefty sum offered by Sharpe and instead filed this case. Prior to engaging in the mediation process, Mr. Sharpe's counsel insisted on Jane Doe signing a confidentiality agreement. Mr. Sharpe's attorney has now breached that agreement while at the same time deliberately revealing Jane Doe's name, phone number, and private messages that again predate the alleged rape. That was a grievous error on Mr. Sharpe's part because now all the things discussed and revealed in that mediative process will at some point be revealed. As set forth in the filed lawsuit, Mr. Sharpe's conduct throughout the 2-year relationship reveals a pattern of narcissism, manipulation, and coercive control. It grew progressively worse. Sharpe's new lawyer claims in his statement that the evidence paints a clear picture. He's right about that. It's just not the picture he wants the public to see. Although we will save the video discussed by Sharpe's lawyers for the courtroom, I would suggest that Mr. Sharpe's new lawyer take a moment to listen to his client at a different time on audio and ask his client for the real story, the truth. In the attached audio, which was captured near the end of their relationship, Mr. Sharpe threatens to choke the shit out of Jane Doe. The contents of this clip are certainly not sexual. They are not playful. They are instead disturbing, aggressive, and dangerous. This audio paints a very clear picture of how Sharpe treated Jane Doe, leading her to escape from him by leaving Nevada and blocking all contact with him. This is not the first time Mr. Sharpe has faced allegations of mistreating a woman. He was also sued in New York for alleged aggressive and inappropriate behavior, detailed extensively in that lawsuit. Instead of owning up to his actions, Sharpe has chosen to mislead his lawyers and the public and double down, this time by doxing Jane Doe and attempting to humiliate and to silence this woman who is 30 years his junior. Mr. Sharpe's aggressive approach will instead have the opposite effect. Miss Doe is not afraid of the truth. She relies upon it. I look forward to presenting the evidence in this case through the judicial process where the truth matters more than a sports icon's desperate public spin. Tony Busby referenced an audio clip where he said that Shannon Sharpe could be heard threatening her. This was a phone call that was recorded without Shannon's knowledge.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. It is what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you said that one more time, I'm going to choke the out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Well, I don't.
You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did with the shit you did to me.
Okay,
Now I'm going to show Shannon Sharpe's response and his public statement that he did on television.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
All right, so here are my thoughts on the situation. First of all, I really don't think that it was smart for Shannon Sharpe's lawyer to jump out the window and announce publicly that there was a $10 million settlement offer. I just don't feel like that was a good decision because the general public, when they hear that, when people hear that there was money offered, they automatically assume that that person is guilty just off of the fact that money was offered. And we're not just talking about a little bit of money. We're talking about $10 million. That's a hefty sum. That's a lot of money. So I think people are going to have a hard time believing that Shannon Sharpe did not do anything wrong or do anything against this young woman. if he offered her that much money. My next point is, what happened to hiring PR? What happened to the personal representative aspect? What happened to the publicist thing? Why do these celebrities keep hiring lawyers to go on television, to go on the radio, to do press conferences, to get on the airwaves and discuss legalities? Because every single time it happens, just about every single time, the client ends up looking worse than they did before. Okay? Lawyers are meant to be lawyers. They know the law. They think like lawyers. They talk like lawyers. So you have this lawyer standing up during a press conference saying, yeah, well, I mean, there was a settlement offer. Okay, well, to him, he's a lawyer. So to lawyers, that's normal. That's protocol, right? But to the general public, to the common everyday person, when we hear that, when we hear there was a settlement offer, that automatically gets equated to guilt. People are going to automatically think that this person is guilty. So my point is that these lawyers do not think like publicists. They don't think like personal representatives. They think and they speak like lawyers. So in my opinion, these people that keep finding themselves in hot water, stop sending your lawyer to talk for you. Because Diddy did that. Didn't Diddy do that recently? His lawyer, I believe, he did some kind of interview and announced that, you know, Diddy had bought baby oil from Costco. But then it came out, like Costco came back and said, no, we actually don't carry baby oil in bulk here. And like completely debunked that entire thing. And that just goes into my point. Like, you have lawyers getting on TV talking, thinking that they're, you know, in court. And it's like, you're not in court. You're talking to the public. It's not the same thing. And I also feel like lawyers, it's their job to be stern. They have to be stern and they have to be cold, especially defense attorneys. Like, that's just what they do. That's their job. So I just feel like when it comes to sensitive situations like sexual assault, rape, I just feel like you need a much softer approach than just sending some lawyer up there to speak on your behalf. I just don't think it's a good look. Honestly, I really feel like y'all should just start shutting the fuck up, because you're really just incriminating yourselves at this point. You're making yourself look guilty. In my opinion, this was a huge lapse in judgment. This was a fucking terrible idea. I don't know who the hell came up with this or thought that this would be good or help, but it didn't. And this statement that Shannon Sharpe gave on camera, it really irritated me, and it irritated me for multiple reasons, and I'm going to explain why. The first part, where he said that Tony Busby was targeting Jay-Z as well because he targets black men. That is so problematic to me, because Shannon, why are you bringing Jay-Z into your mess? To me, that was given like, I want to take some of the attention off myself and put some of it on Jay-Z, because there was literally no reason for you to even bring that man's name up, to even compare. Because if we're going to be honest, yeah, a lot of people feel like Jay-Z is guilty and, you know, maybe he did do something. But Shannon Sharpe, dude, you're literally recorded threatening this girl. And she's 30 years younger than you. She's like a child. She was 19 when this allegedly occurred. So that was not a good comparison, because Jay-Z, as far as I know, isn't on tape threatening someone. So like, for you to just come out and say, yeah, look at what Tony's doing to Jay-Z. Yeah, see, he's doing the same thing to me. See, we're in the same boat. No, you guys actually aren't really in the same boat. Shannon, your situation is worse. And I'm like, dude, I know Jay-Z's fucking pissed. I know he is so mad that Shannon Sharpe name dropped him like that. That's crazy. Then the next part that irritated me was when he said that He believes that Tony Busby is going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that he says, quote unquote, tries to make him look guilty. Okay, so the fact that you're getting on camera and you're telling everybody, hey, there might be a sex tape that comes out, but, just so you know, just in case, I'm just going to go ahead and let you know now that it's only a 30-second clip of what should be 10 minutes. So yeah, tell Tony to release the full video. That's what he's saying. And to me, it comes off like, bro, are you just trying to get ahead of something? Are you just trying to soften the blow a little bit because whatever can potentially come out, whatever leaks will incriminate you or make you look bad? Something about that does not sit right with me. I feel like if you are innocent and you haven't done anything wrong, then it's like your innocence should definitely speak for itself. I don't think anyone has the power to make you look guilty or look like you did something if you didn't really do it, unless you're being deliberately framed. But I think it's kind of hard to frame somebody for rape on camera. I don't know, but it just that doesn't sit well with me. Like I said, it just sounds like he's trying to get ahead of the situation. And then my last thing with this is, isn't she supposed to be anonymous? She filed this lawsuit as a Jane Doe. So can someone help me understand why Shannon Sharpe is disclosing her name publicly? Why her first and last name is being put out there publicly if she's supposed to be a Jane Doe? Can that be considered witness intimidation? Like, what's the point of doing that? Again, huge error in judgment. None of this, in my opinion, is a good damn look for Shannon Sharpe. This is a mess. I can't imagine anything good coming from this. And I can imagine that after telling the public that he offered her $10 million, I don't know. I think you're going to have a hard time convincing a jury that you're completely innocent and that you didn't do anything. You're going to have a very hard time proving that. That was not for anyone to know. Usually when settlements are discussed and mediations happen, from what I understand, they're not really supposed to talk about that. That stuff is supposed to remain confidential. So it's very, very unethical to come forward, and talk about an offer that you made if the deal was never closed and you guys are going to go to court anyway. That's a really bad look. So it was announced on April 24th that Shannon Sharpe will be stepping away temporarily from ESPN while he deals with this $50 million lawsuit. And then in a statement, he said, "I will be devoting this time to my family and responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I sincerely appreciate the overwhelming and ongoing support I have received from my family, fans, friends, and colleagues." And he also said that he would be back with ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason, and the first preseason game is set for July 31st. Now, in the midst of all this nonsense, I got word that a second woman claiming to be Shannon Sharpe's ex has previously accused him of rape. So I'm going to read this article from Page 6. Michele Bundy Evans, who allegedly dated the sports commentator for nearly a decade, filed a lawsuit against Sharpe in late 2023 for defamation, libel, and slander after previously accusing him of sexual assault. Evans claimed he assaulted her in 2010 after they got into an argument about his alleged infidelity, according to court documents obtained by Page 6. She claimed Sharpe proceeded to forcefully subdue her, compelling her to her knees and subsequently engaging in non-consensual oral penetration. Consumed by fear and the perplexing nature of his actions, I harbored a deep-seated apprehension that resistance would precipitate further detrimental outcomes, she alleged further. According to the complaint, Sharpe 56 maneuvered her onto the bed and achieved non-consensual vaginal penetration, all the while proclaiming his intent to make it so no other man would want her. He then threatened to ruin her reputation if she chose to share the details of the incident, she alleged. He levied threats of ruin, declaring that any attempt on my part to disclose his transgressions would be met with a comprehensive campaign to use everyone I know to destroy you, the lawsuit claimed. Evans went on in her lawsuit to accuse Sharpe of making public remarks on his various platforms about their legal feud, which negatively affected her reputation. Evans placed a restraining order against Sharpe following the 2010 incident. However, she later dropped it out of fear for herself and her child, she told the U.S. Sun in an interview published Thursday. After I filed the restraining order, I was sitting in my apartment with my daughter, she said. I had a basement floor apartment with a door leading out to the sidewalk, so I was right there, vulnerable, and somebody came up to my door and said, "Shut up, fucking bitch." And I ran and dropped it right then because I had a child at home with me at the time, and having someone coming to my door with her there, you know that? No, she said. In a statement obtained by Page Six, a spokesperson for Sharpe denied Evans' allegations, saying in part, Michele Evans' claims are ridiculous and completely without merit. The rep added, Shannon has had no contact with her for many years. So they have deemed Michele's claims as utterly meritless and ridiculous. But I did catch wind of an article that was published by CBS News back in 2010. It was published on September 16th, 2010, and the headline reads, Shannon Sharpe update, restraining order dismissed, Michele Bundy, quote unquote, infatuated, says acquaintance. Now, according to her lawsuit that she filed in 2023, she's accusing Shannon Sharpe of defamation, of smearing her name and speaking about the situation publicly. Now, I don't remember any of this. This happened a long time ago, but this is what she's alleging. But let me read this article, and I want you to please pay attention to the verbiage and the way that things are worded and the idea that is being painted of the woman, Michele Bundy, okay? The Fulton County Sheriff's Office says a temporary restraining order that was filed against former NFL player Shannon Sharpe last week has been dismissed, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. The former Denver Bronco announced Thursday that he was taking a leave of absence from his NFL analyst position at CBS Sports after Michele Bundy accused the former Bronco of sexual assault, claiming that he forced her to have sex with him, threatened her life, and stalked her, according to documents obtained by Sports by Brooks. Details regarding why the restraining order was dismissed have not been disclosed, reports the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. But when some who knew Bundy learned of her accusations, it didn't come as a surprise. My first reaction was, oh my God, this woman is trying to put the screws to this guy. Troy Holliker, a Denver area acquaintance of the woman, told the Denver Post. Everyone knows this is a lie. This is what the woman went out to do. According to Thane Davis, another acquaintance, Bundy was infatuated with Shannon Sharpe, reports the Denver paper. Davis and his wife apparently allowed Bundy to live with their family for a few months, but Davis said Bundy, quote, overstayed her welcome, unquote, and was eventually escorted out of their home by police in late June. She has some insane idea in her head that he's going to be in a relationship with her, Davis told the Denver paper. She was fabricating stories against me too. Davis said Bundy met with Sharpe when she received media credentials while working for a television station in Denver, giving her access to the Broncos locker room and games. He claimed Bundy lived in New York for approximately 5 years before returning to Denver this year and more recently moving to the Atlanta area, according to the Denver Post. Sharpe is under consideration for the NFL Hall of Fame. He won 2 Super Bowl rings with the Broncos and won 1 with the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, so this article, this is another thing that I have a major issue with, and I'm going to explain why. I actually have multiple issues with this. So my first thing is the article does not explain why the restraining order was dropped. To me, that's a red flag. Why was the restraining order dropped? What's up with that? How are we gonna just sprinkle that in there? Yeah, restraining order got dropped. But we don't have any clue or context as to why, what happened, what a judge said, like nothing. It was dropped. Okay, that's my first thing. my second thing is restraining orders typically are not granted for no reason. 9 times out of 10, if you acquire a restraining order, then that means that you were able to present some sort of proof that that person that you are filing it against, that they assaulted you, that they harmed you, that they pose a risk to your life and your safety. A judge is not going to grant a restraining order just because you're crazy. 9 times out of 10. So the idea that like, oh, she just crazy, she crazy, that kind of thing, I don't really like that rhetoric, because again, restraining orders are not granted for no reason. And it came out, this woman, Michele Bundy, sued Shannon in 2023 for defamation, for defaming her character. And she's alleging he made statements publicly on TV that made her look bad, that she feels like affected her reputation negatively. But I'm reading this article and I'm looking at the statements from people that were included in this article about Michele, and to me, they seem slanderous. For example, the first person that was quoted here that basically gave their account of Michele said, "My first reaction was, oh my God, this woman is trying to put the screws to this guy. Everyone knows this is a lie. This is what the woman went out to do." Okay, that does sound slanderous. That does sound like defamation. So to me, just off of that and the quotes that were put in this article when this whole thing allegedly took place back in 2010, could there have been someone behind the scenes that sought these people out to give a quote to this article to paint a certain picture of Michele Bundy? Because to just come out after a restraining order had already been granted and to come out and say, this is a lie, this is what she set out to do, she's a liar. Like I said, judges don't grant restraining orders for no reason. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have a reason to have a restraining order actually granted. So if this person wasn't there, if they weren't a witness to whatever it was that the woman is alleging, I do believe that it is slanderous. It does seem like defamation to outright say, oh, she's lying, this is a lie. And also this other person that gave a quote that said she has some insane idea in her head that he's gonna be in a relationship with her. She was fabricating stories against me too. Again, that sounds, to me, this whole thing, this article sounds orchestrated. It sounds to me like maybe somebody from Shannon Sharpe's team or something of that sort could have solicited those people to come forward and to make those statements to maybe make her look bad or try to discredit her. So, just off me seeing this article in the way that it was written and the way that the alleged victim was just so blatantly dismissed and written off, it makes me feel like her claims that Shannon could have been on TV defaming her, that could be legitimate. There might be some truth to that, because this article is worded crazy. And then my point about, when I said, why is the lawsuit dropped? So in the page 6 article that I read earlier, the woman said that, she dropped the restraining order because someone came to her apartment and threatened her. She claims that someone showed up to her apartment there with her child there and threatened her, and she was so scared and frightened that she dropped the lawsuit. To me, that is not far-fetched. Witness intimidation is real and it can happen. And when you're dealing with powerful people with money, people with connections, people like Shannon Sharpe, I believe people in certain positions have the power to make some things happen. And I do believe that she could have possibly been intimidated or coerced into shutting up and dropping that restraining order. So when all of this happened back in 2010, like the article stated, Shannon Sharpe did have to take a leave of absence. He took a temporary leave of absence. That means that this is not the first time that Shannon Sharpe has been in hot fucking water for what? Assaulting women. Okay? Now we know, we have it on record, we know for a fact Shannon Sharpe has been accused of rape in the past, and now it's resurfacing. And in 2023, Michele Bundy sued him for defaming her character, for defamation, for slandering her after the restraining order was filed. And she believes that his actions and the way that he spoke about her affected her negatively. And this has just been uncovered as of yesterday. This was uncovered that there had been a lawsuit in 2023. So, I don't know how many people were aware of this. I wasn't aware of this until today. So I just feel like where there's smoke, there's fire. He's been accused of this behavior before. I'm sorry. He's been accused of this behavior before. So could it be possible that this person has a problem? So me personally, I think that Shannon Sharpe is completely fucked. And I think that young white girl, he's gonna have to pay her. Whatever mediation they have or negotiations they had, he should have just gave her whatever she wanted. Clearly 10 million isn't what she wanted. You should have just gave her what she wanted. Because now you done spilled the tea, you talked too much, you told too much, and now she's gonna sue you, she's gonna take you to court, and she's probably gonna win. And I don't feel bad for Shannon Sharpe, because you had no business fucking with somebody that's 30 years younger than you. You had no business even dealing with her in the first place. So I really don't feel sorry for him. And then now that I've learned that, bitch, you've been suspended or you've been on leave before after being accused of some heinous shit. You've been through this before. I really don't have sympathy for you. So like I said, where there's smoke, there's fucking fire. So, my only thing is that I'm kind of disappointed that ESPN, they sat on their hands for this long and they waited this long to, act. Because obviously, if he was in mediation or if this had been an ongoing discussion, did they not know about this? But they knew about the last thing that he had back in 2010. They knew about that. So again, I don't know. We're just gonna have to see how this plays out. I always say that in all my videos. We'll just see how this plays out. But yeah, we will. We'll just have to wait and see, bro. That's all I got. Thank you for spending some time with me today and listening to what I have to say. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And if you did, please like it and then leave me a comment down below. Thanks, guys. Bye.